Days of old Los Angeles. The simple days, before the freeways, the airways, and the one-ways. Days I can't forget. Like those dreamy summers in Westlake Park. The trolley trips downtown. Motoring in the country. Sightseeing on the big red cars. Gondola rides in Venice. Where did those days go? And what about the places? Did they go too? Places like L.A. High out on Olympic. The old church by the plaza. The fountain in Central Park. And the Doheny Mansion. Surely they weren't torn down. Well, the old county courthouse is gone. The normal school, forerunner of UCLA, is gone. Once called the Grande Dame of the Civic Center, the old Hall of Records, seen through the arches of City Hall, is also gone. Yes, most of the old places are gone. But thanks to certain vocal citizens, a few remain. Where are these milestones of the past? How have they changed? What roles did they play in the drama of the City of Angels? To learn the answers, I began at El Pueblo de Los Angeles State Historic Park, north of the City Hall, and not far from LA's birthplace. It wasn't by accident that the city was born near here in September 1781. It was all part of Spain's plan to colonize Alta California. Under Governor Felipe de Neve, a group of 11 Mexican families, weary from their long journey, was given a small tract of land. This land was to be known as El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora la Reina de Los Angeles. The social life of the new pueblo soon became focused at the plaza. The original plaza was relocated in 1818 to its present site. The plaza got its circular form in the 1890s, and in 1962, a kiosco became the centerpiece for the plaza of today. Rejuvenating the plaza area began around 1930 through the efforts of Christine Sterling with the opening of Alvarez Street as a typical Mexican marketplace. By the 1950s, the stalls and booths were almost bumper to bumper. But if you look closely, you'll see a reconstruction of the oldest house in Los Angeles, the Avila adobe. Built in 1818 by Francisco Avila, it was in its heyday the hub of the Pueblo's social wheel. During the Mexican War, it was headquarters for the American Army. Not one to harbor ill feelings, General Fremont held a post-war reception there to honor his vanquished opponent, General Andres Pico. As the city grew southward, the adobe was threatened with demolition. But today, the remaining wing is as much a part of this historic street as the trinkets and the treats you simply can't pass up. Since 1870, the Pico House has occupied the southwest corner of the plaza. It was built by Pio Pico, last Mexican governor of California, and was the finest hotel south of San Francisco. Each room was gas-lit, and on steamer days, there were free stage rides to the new harbor at San Pedro. But the hotel's preeminence was short-lived. In its waning years, it was reduced to the role of Skid Row flophouse. Finally, in 1953, it was rescued by conservationists and joined to the State Historic Park, where modern shops and offices may once again bring life to the old Pico house. From the second floor of the Pico house, I could see that the Plaza Church, officially called the Church of Our Lady, Queen of the Angels, was alive and well. It took 1,000 head of cattle and more than 1 barrel of brandy to offset construction costs. Though not part of the mission system, completion of the Plaza Church in 1822 put an end to the 10-mile trek to San Gabriel for Mass. The aging lady has had her share of facelifts. The original beams are gone, while most of the adobe has been replaced with brick. Nevertheless, the lady's heart is still her own, as any Sunday morning worshiper could tell you. After Mass, the plaza takes on a festive air, reminiscent of Pueblo days. At 3rd and Hill, a lonely tunnel recalls its companion of years past, Angel's Flight. In 1901, the world's shortest railway started serving the exclusive residential community of Bunker Hill at a penny a ride. The 2 wooden cars had no doors, and the windows didn't open. We had 2 outside seats, and inside, the choice of 14 hardwood benches on each wall. Threatened many times with extinction, the Hardy Incline didn't close down until 1969. But the 2 cars, the Olivet and the Sinai, were not destroyed. They were placed in a warehouse where they await the promise that one day they will serve a new Bunker Hill. Two blocks to the south, I rediscovered old Los Angeles on the fringes of Pershing Square. Like an island of grass in a sea of concrete, this public property has weathered the waves of development since the city's inception. At various times, the park has been called La Plaza Abaja, St. Vincent's Park, 6th Street Park, and Central Park. Then, in 1920, Mayor Snyder welcomed home a war hero, and we renamed it Pershing Square. In the 1930s, with hard times, Southlanders learned the meaning of the word bench warmer. By 1950, the downtown parking problem demanded the unthinkable: dig up Pershing Square, build an underground garage, then put a green lid back on. The prices have changed. The Depression has passed. But the bench warmer lingers on. In the background is another survivor of the Depression years, the still fashionable Biltmore. The original 800-room hotel dates to 1923. An annex made it the city's first 1,500-room hostelry. The Biltmore played host to the Academy Awards through 3 decades, and in 1977, the hotel underwent a $25 million renovation, which carefully preserve the classical Renaissance art and the Beaux-Arts exterior architecture. Still the city's largest hotel, the Biltmore maintains its tradition and at the same time stands ready to serve the needs of modern Los Angeles. On the opposite corner of 5th and Olive is a place that's part church, part office building, and all nostalgia. The Philharmonic Auditorium has been around since 1906, when it replaced Hazard's Pavilion. The original owner was the Temple Baptist Church, which even now continues its weekly services. For many years, it was the home of the Civic Light Opera and the LA Philharmonic. In 1965, with the opening of the Los Angeles Music Center, the auditorium's theatrical life came to an end. However, a renewal project now underway may return the Great Hall to its former position as Los Angeles's musical mecca. Across the street, a statue of Beethoven, erected by members of the Philharmonic, contemplates the auditorium's days of glory. The Hollywood sign, visible for miles, known to millions. Yet few know the story of this monument high on the slopes of Mount Lee. It wasn't intended to be a symbol of the world's entertainment center. But perhaps it was the symbolism that helped raise the money, time and time again, to restore the weather-beaten sign. In 1923, they started carving up the hillside at the end of Beechwood Drive. The developers of Hollywoodland tried to blend the home sites into the area's natural contours. To ballyhoo the project, they built a sign almost 50 feet tall. By 1949, the letters LAND had blown down, never to be replaced. But the residential showcase for which they stood is very much intact, as are the stone gates marking the project's entrance on Beechwood Drive. The Hollywood sign and the Beechwood gates are now Los Angeles Cultural Historic Monuments. And that could only happen in Hollywoodland. San Vicente Boulevard near Beverly Hills. Today, a quiet residential area. Yesterday, a focal point for the glamour of Hollywood. The 49er tells us it had something to do with early California. In 1926, when theater styles ran to Egyptian and Chinese, J. Harvey McCarthy created one that was pure Californian. But wait, it's premiere night at the Carthay Circle Theater, and the movie fans are awaiting the arrival of their favorite stars. Before curtain time, ticket holders enjoy the richly decorated interior highlighted by historical paintings depicting the pioneer spirit of the Golden State. After 43 years as a showcase for Hollywood's finest, the Carthay finally succumbed to economic pressures.